Hi, this is Will Hermes, and I'm here to tell you about a class I'm teaching about 5 things I've learned about writing, about music and musicians. I've been writing about music and musicians for decades now. I've been writing for Rolling Stone magazine, for Spin magazine back in the day. I write for Uncut in the UK. I've written for the New York Times, done broadcast pieces for National Public Radio. I've written for Pitchfork. And, you know, I love writing about music because I feel that writing about music is writing about life in all of its aching glory, love and war and peace and ecstasy, all the things of the human experience are channeled through music, through lyrics, and really through the emotions that are spurred through arrangements of notes that kind of shift our molecules. I know that a lot of you consider yourself to be writers. I know some of you are just starting out. For my purposes, and really the way I see all of us who are interested in writing, if you're posting stuff to social media, you are a writer for the purposes of this class. If you are a writer who is publishing work, if you're someone who has a Substack, as I do, um, you are doing the work, and I'm hoping that you'll get something out of this class and have a lot of fun at the same time, talking about two things that we love, which is writing and music. Um, I've got some notes here. I'm a big believer in notes. Just writing them down usually helps, even if you wind up not looking at them. The things I want to address in the class is how do you write compellingly about music, about the physical and emotional experience of listening to music, being deeply moved by a song. We're going to talk about writer's voice. Uh, that is, um, how personal do you want this writing to be? Do you want to have more of a distant, authorial, third person kind of voice, or do you want it to be really first person and intimate? And if you do want it to be a personal voice, your voice, what version of you do you want that voice to be? That's where things get really kind of interesting because we contain multitudes. So we'll talk about that variation. We will talk about research, the centrality of doing, deep digging research and fact checking. If you're familiar with my books, Love Goes to Buildings on Fire, 5 years of 5 years in New York that changed music forever, and Lou Reed, the King of New York, you'll know that I'm big on deep diving research. They have a lot of footnotes and endnotes in them, perhaps to a fault, but it's something I really love to do, because that's where you find the gems that hopefully people will read your work and say like, "Wow, I didn't know that." Even if you're writing about something that they know very well. We'll talk about structure, we'll talk about tone, we'll talk about when it's okay to occasionally break the rules of grammar. One thing about trying to get at the emotion and the sound of music is sometimes sort of like if you know the rules, you can break the rules. You can play a little fast and loose with rules of grammar. Um, and we'll consider other pieces of writing, some of the best music writing, quote unquote, that I've come across over the decades of doing this. And that would be people who are music writers per se, writing about music in, say, Rolling Stone or in books. It might also be novelists, or short story writers, even poets who address music with through their particular writer's craft. And these are all tools, that we can draw on as writers, even if our writing is posting to Instagram, or writing in a Substack, which I do a few times a week. on New Music Plus Old Music is my Substack site. It's been super, super fun to do, to really get back to writing on, if not a daily basis, at least, multiple times a week. I'm usually posting something up on there. And it really it sharpens you. The more you write, we'll do some exercises in the course of these 2 hours, and I think you'll emerge from it a better writer, certainly more knowledgeable about the different tools that you have at your disposal to draw on to make your writing better. As I have told everyone in any writing class I've ever taught, and I've taught a few, um, good writers are people who read widely. So if you're a music writer, yeah, read all sorts of stuff about music, but read novels, read poetry, read short stories. I'll put together a list of things that I think will be real fun to refer to after the class is over. And again, I'm like gearing this course to folks who are beginning writers, have some experience, even people who have been publishing stuff a lot and might just be interested in how I approach what I do from various points. And as somebody who writes books, as somebody who posts to social media, I post to Instagram differently than I post to Blue Sky, which is different than what I do on Substack. If you're someone interested in writing a script for a documentary film or maybe a biopic. We're all talking about the same stuff. This is all undergirded with writing, good writing. And everything's got to have a middle, a beginning, and an end. You want to have a good opening. You want to have some rich content, and you want to have a good kicker when things need to wrap up to leave the reader with that kind of like, you know, hum of pleasure that comes at the end of a movie, at the end of a good essay, at the end of a great song, and you just feel like, wow, I just had I had all my nerve endings quivering from that one. So that's what we're aiming for. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I look forward to prepping all the stuff for the class and to join a bunch of you for 5 things I've learned about writing, about music and musicians. So see you soon.